Almost a year and a half ago, my team and I launched Free America, providing a cultural strategy to support a growing movement to end mass incarceration. Now, in order to better understand the complexities of the system, we've been on a listening and learning tour across the country, visiting with incarcerated individuals, law enforcement, legislators, and experts who've been critically thinking about America's prison problem. During this time, it has become very clear to me that the formerly incarcerated community has done so much great work, and you are the reason why we are on the cusp of radically transforming the entire justice system. I would like to welcome you to the first national conference of the formerly incarcerated and convicted people and family movement. I want to take this moment to thank you for your leadership and courage to push us and the broader American public to think more boldly and radically about what's possible and within our grasp if we have the political will and the courage to do so. With a critical election coming up this November, I look forward to working with you all to ensure that every person and family impacted by the criminal justice system registers and gets out to vote. We have to make our voices heard. That's why the Free America team is filming today, so we can create a short video to educate and inspire the formerly incarcerated community about the importance and impact of their vote in the upcoming election. I am extremely grateful for your work and am committed to working with you to finally end mass incarceration in America. Now, I would like to share a number of vignettes that we created several weeks ago.
My name is Tony. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. I graduated from high school. I went to college. I worked every day. I didn't do drugs. I had to make a decision to give him the information he wanted or not. He threatened to kill my children. I landed a 20-year sentence. I just believe that it doesn't always take a person who commits crimes over and over and over again to wind up in prison. Something can happen in your life and it can take 30 seconds and it can change your entire life. The first thing they tell you, when you get out, you can't get no job. Nobody's gonna hire you. Nobody wants a felon there. Just because you end up here, don't mean that you have to live here. You have to know that there's something out there that's better than this.
My name is Pastor Kenneth Glasgow. My relationship with the criminal justice system started when I was 14 years old. I ended up telling somebody how to obtain some marijuana. He ended up being a narcotic agent, and I ended up going to jail for that. My life is way more than my criminal record. My criminal record speaks of what I've done wrong. My life since then has changed laws in Alabama, Georgia, West Virginia, and Florida. Even a bill for automatic restoration of people having the right to vote when they get out of prison, setting the stage for laws for millions and millions of people to have a better life. I helped mess this up, selling drugs, committing crimes, doing what I've done. And God gave me a commission to clean it up. I look at my children. I gotta make a better world for them. That's what motivates me.
My name is Andrea James. I am a formerly incarcerated woman. I grew up in a community that has been deeply affected by mass incarceration. It's incredibly difficult to parent from a prison payphone. Most of the women who are incarcerated are mothers, and most of them did not have the means to afford the phone calls. They were paid 12 cents an hour. They had to literally decide between buying feminine hygiene products or making a phone call home to their children. As a mother, as a woman, you have to forget about your children in order not to lose your mind while you're trying to make it through your sentence. That is criminal in itself, that we have a system that would separate mothers from their children. Prisons will never, ever be the place where women will find the opportunity to heal and advance their lives.
My name is George Galvis. Probably my earliest memory is witnessing my father when I was 3 years old trying to kill my mother. The violence that was produced in my home, I reproduced on the streets later on. I was incarcerated when I was 17 years old, charged with multiple felonies. I wasn't on that track, man. It wasn't in my heart. There's people who have fought and struggled to create better conditions for my generation. I have to do that for the generation coming up behind me. We're really trying to focus on this concept of justice reinvestment, to invest in opportunities, resources, services, and programs to create more spaces for healing for young people. In my Native American teaching, each and every one of us is a blessing. Our stories are sacred. They're how we can transform our communities and create social change. What we need is healing.
My name's Alex Sanchez. When I was incarcerated in prison, I realized for the first time I was undocumented. I was taken and deported back to El Salvador in 1994. I did care about not leaving. I wanted to be a father to my son and came back as an undocumented immigrant. I think that it did affect him till now. He's 21 years old. It was difficult to be a father to him from prison by just sending letters and talking to him over the phone, telling him to be good. All of us are together in this. We feel it's important to bridge the criminal justice movement and the immigration justice movement and recognize that we are in this land and we need to be together with our families.
My name is Eddie Zhang. Migrating to Oakland, California at the age of 12, I encountered cultural differences that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't able to fit in. I started hanging out with some of my peers in similar situations, started engaging in criminal activities. I was kicked out of school, arrested, and sentenced to life. We are always told by adults what it is to being good or being bad. Yet we don't realize the environment that we live in creates a lot of those narratives. We have to treat young people as young people and provide them with the guidance that they need to grow up on their terms. When we place education second to incarceration, that is what feeds the system. I'm not an anomaly when it comes to rehabilitation. People make changes in their lives when they're given the opportunity.
My name is Norris Henderson. I did 27 years, 10 months, and 18 days in prison for a crime I didn't commit. It's been my journey to not allow that to happen to anybody else if I can. I went to prison with an education, so that's how I got my job working in the law library. While doing some research, I realized that our Constitution didn't prohibit people on probation and parole being able to vote. I started educating folks that when you get out, you have to go and register and vote because every vote counts. It makes all the sense in the world that formerly incarcerated people lead these movements. Although people want to help us, people can't speak for us. I pray that if I ever got out, I would never forget the folks I left behind. God kept his promise by putting me in this space. It's my obligation to fulfill my end of the bargain.
My name is Dorsey. On the way to meet some friends, I stopped at a liquor store. It turned ugly extremely fast and the person lost their life. I wind up being sentenced to life at the age of 19. When I hang out with my friends, we hanging out with formerly incarcerated people that are probably better educated and more underemployed than anybody else. In the bane of our existence, it's the question on the application. Have you been convicted of a felony? That question exists on housing applications, on student loan applications, on insurance applications. We developed a movement that was initiated by us that meant something. We called it Ban the Box. Because I don't think they hire offenders. I think they hire human beings. I don't think they house offenders. I think they house human beings. I want to be recognized as a full human being.